Not really. No, I meant all the woods across the street. There's no creek next to my house. We just fucked off across the street and went and played on the tree that fell down over the creek and tried to make a swing out of it, and it didn't go well, so.
Oh my god, Bridge to Terabithia style?
No! We tried to use the roots from the trunk to make a swing.
That's close enough.
That book made me so upset as a child. That was so uncomfortable.
The creek at our school had E. coli in it, so for science we would go down and test it a lot. It was fun. But we weren't allowed to touch the water. We had to wear like boots and gloves.
That's a lot of trust in you children.
Yeah. They're like, we're gonna do this fun experiment, but also if you touch the water, you die. So don't do that.
But also, we're putting you in a hazmat suit. It's fine.
That's one of the things I love about the band Pup is the music video for their song Kids, where it's just Stefan and his sister like going on these like basically getting in a stupid canoe and going into a boat and like a ditch between apartment complexes and like getting horribly sick because there was just shit in the water.
Literally, yeah.
Oh my god.
That's a good band.
That is a good band.
That is a good band.
Very true.
We will discuss more nature facts as we continue. I have no doubt.
I have so many nature facts.
Della, you are a nature witch, and we know this, and we love you.
It is known.
I would say I'm a kitchen witch more than a nature witch. If we're gonna be, if we're making gardens more than forests.
I can respect that. All right. Let us jump in for tonight. So hello, everyone. We are down one member tonight. We are live from the Apocalypse, a not-for-profit TTRPG studio that raises money for aid organizations and progressive causes through actual play content in the form of streams and podcasts. We are currently raising money for Rainbow Railroad, the Canadian branch. So if you donate money and it looks strange, that is because it is in Canadian currency. What is Canadian currency? I don't know. It's fine. It's been a week. Anyways, yes, donate to them. They do good things. They primarily help queer people, and especially in this day and age, trans people relocate to safer locations if they are in unsafe ones. We very much value being able to fundraise and get money for the different organizations that we platform, and so we have subsequently made it very easy to find the donate button and very difficult to find the subscribe button, because we would rather that any money you would have given us in subscriptions, bits, anything like that, rather than going to Jeff Bezos, goes directly to the aid organization we are currently platforming. So at any point, click that donate button. At that point, the McElroy brothers will yell at me. My cast may yell in solidarity. I will get distracted, so if I am giving any sort of long narration or in the middle of an emotional scene, that is a great time to do this. It'll throw me completely off. I will have to regroup, and it will be a good time for us all. You can find the subscribe button. We cannot turn it off. We have tried. Just know that if you do that, if you manage to dig it up, and you choose to maybe throw like an Amazon Prime subscription our way or something like that, Brennan Lee Mulligan, beloved Dimension 20 Dungeon Master, will kill one dog for every month you have been subscribed. It is a tragedy that Raph is very much encouraging. You need to get your vendetta against Fitz out of the room. Maybe you'll do that tomorrow night. We have lost like 100 dogs in the past couple of weeks. It was, as Steph put it, a massacre. So don't contribute to that. And I think that's all of the business stuff. If you do that, yes, Burnley Mulligan will kill a dog, and that covers everything, I think.
I'm annoyed because I just resubscribed my Prime subscription and it didn't do it.
How could it? It'll probably do it in like...
Did you click enter in the chat? Sometimes it...
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't like to...
Yeah, it's fine. We know in our spirits, we know.
And honestly, I felt there was like a shiver down my spine. I was like, dogs have been killed today.
Dogs have been killed today.
And it feels very good.
Raph, you're a monster. How many dogs, out of curiosity, Della? How many dogs?
Fucking lots. I've been subscribed for a really long time to this channel because I kind of helped start the channel.
I'm gonna guess 27.
Yeah, 20 something. The
Wait.
only
I want to guess. I'm going to guess.
I can't like even see it.
I'm going to guess
Why can't I see
32. No, you know what? 36.
36? You're going to guess 36?
Yeah, I don't know how many years.
No, 24.
I can't actually. I don't know how to see it
No,
on my
mystery.
phone.
I'm about to start
My problem is I don't actually like Twitch very much, and it took me a long time to like actually get a Twitch thing. So I have not been following Live from the Apocalypse as long as it has existed because I refused to get a Twitch for a while.
Fair,
I mean,
fair.
respectable.
Yes,
One day. One day we will know the number of dogs.
One day.
But we know they are
Remember
dogs.
these numbers.
No, they were good dogs.
Wait. 27, right? 36, 24. This is actually plot relevant and is going to come up. So don't forget.
Don't tempt me.
Don't forget. Once Della figures out how to make it work,
100%.
I will confirm.
And with that, I think it is time to do introductions for yourself, where people can find you, your characters, and your current archetypes. And that, of course, means we are starting with Stephanie.
I was ready this time. Hi, I'm Stephanie. You can find me over at Live from the Apocalypse Discord under the handle Avenza. And tonight I will be playing, well, I usually play Kai Caldwell. He is the Martyr playbook, but he's out of commission right now, so Rebecca Dalton is doing the piloting, and she has the villain playbook, and she is just the most pathetic drowned rat. The worst, truly. We hate to see it.
We do hate to see it. Della, another one who has more than one character currently.
I do. I have more than one character, though we have reached kind of a chill, sort of a sharing vibe. We're good. We like each other. Everybody in this body is happy. Hi, I'm Della. I am playing the combination of Siobhan and Rachel Blauhair. I am alternately the martyr or the parent playbooks. And I'm just a friendly Southern lady. Just, I'm fine. Don't worry about it.
I mean, real normal things are happening here.
I am so normal. I'm very normal.
And that's the perfect segue, because speaking of normal, this means we go to you, Raph.
Yeah, the most normal character and continuing to hold down the fort. Just a single unpossessed body. That's Sophie. That's what she would call herself. She would also call herself, and others have said the same thing, the mom of the group. I play Sophie. I play the child playbook. Yeah, no, Sophie's not a known liar. she's chill, dude. She's here to do her research, and yeah, there were claims made that, what did we call Raban was more normal, and I would like to fight that in court, to be honest, because I feel like not being possessed is most normal. And I intend to stay that way, so.
That might be the only way in which Sophie is more normal than Ravon.
I think that's a lot of points right there. So
It's a lot of points. It's a lot of points.
if I'm at the top, maybe I'm at the top with just by a fraction, but still at the top.
Still at the top, baby.
I'm going to be interested to see what the vote is by the end of this. How normal we think Sophie is. And by this, I mean tonight. Also,
like
Sophie, what is your dissertation on?
Well, how I would explain it to the normal crowd, is it's just a study of people's responses and reactions to serial killers, kind of what is like being a within that like lines of victimhood for being a serial killer, or being a potential victim for a serial killer. So it's just honestly psychology, a little bit of criminology is in there. It's a mix of all sorts of stuff. Slatethorn is a great resource place. There's a lot of rich history here. And I'm really excited to learn more.
I'm just curious. You said, how do you explain it to normal people? But I thought you were normal, Sophie. I thought you were normal.
Well, I by normal, I mean people who aren't on the level.
Plebs.
Normies. Yes.
We are, of course, tragically down Q tonight, so Weston will not be joining us, but that is going to create an interesting scenario that we are going to get to explore in just a moment. Also, hi, I am JD. I am the storyteller for this game, and I will be playing everyone else. Who else that is, we shall see. It's fine. Don't worry about it, Raph. It's fine. Last thing I will say before we jump in, Redacted is a game of psychological horror. Based on the history of Slatethorn, this means that at any point, topics related to medical abuse and neglect, fires and burning and burns, cults and cult activity, serial killers, all of that could be on the table. For tonight, I am going to also be highlighting stalking and gaslighting as topics that are likely to come up. And with that, we are going to dive right in. Tonight we start not on the island of Slatethorn. There are not the soothing sounds of waves or the whispers in the wind bleeding through our senses. There is no smell of brine or the isolation of a body of land that is cut off from the rest of the world. Well, cut off at least in the ways we can see. The island must connect to something far beneath the water that presumably also connects somewhere to the mainland, but under those miles and miles and miles, we cannot see that. We just have to imagine that it exists, as it must, because otherwise there would just be a piece of land floating in the water, unmoored, untethered, and always at the risk of disappearing completely into the fog. That doesn't matter, because we are not on the island of Slatethorn. We are moving through a library in the evening hours. It is like any other library: shelves of books, tables for reading texts, a front desk with a friendly librarian to ask questions. The lights are warm and inviting, if unfortunately fluorescent, and the atmosphere is calm and welcoming. And then we are moving to a door, which opens, and walking down a stairwell. The stairwell is less inviting. It is, like many stairwells, a place removed from the floors that surround it. a sort of no man's land that is less well taken care of. There are scuffs on the walls, places where the paint is chipped, and some of the lights are flickering, not around us, but somewhere above us. And that's okay because it's meant to be a passageway of one place to another, and the place we are going is down. Down to the basement, as we started on the first floor. And now we are hearing our footsteps echo through the stairwell. And we are hoping there's no one there to listen. Is there? Is that the sound of someone breathing? We think about calling out saying, hello, but why would we do that? Why would we announce our presence? That's how every horror movie starts. You never do that. And also, you never do that because if they're there, they can already hear us. They've already heard our footsteps because we heard our footsteps. And so we hurry down the stairs and we throw open the door to the basement, and we miss that warmth above on the first floor that felt so inviting and comforting, because the area we are stepping into feels so far from that. There are stacks and stacks and stacks in front of us, creating a maze of what is open and what is not open, which ones have been shuttered, which ones could close at any point. It is almost like a labyrinth. And we take a deep breath and we move through what must be the archives. We see books and pamphlets and monographs that haven't been seen by anyone else's eyes in months or years or decades, given the amount of dust around them. We look at them and we know these materials deserve better care, and yet they've been placed out of sight and out of mind. We just want to find where we're going, so we walk. And this is somehow more disquieting than the stairs, because now we can barely hear our footsteps. It is as though the materials around us are eating them, silencing the sound. But we can still hear, and we hear the door we came through open and close. And we pause, waiting to see if we hear footsteps. But there's nothing. Nothing but the feeling of something coming towards us. And it feels wrong and it feels dangerous. And we start to run, hearing our heart pound in our ears, making turns, trying to lose whatever this pursuing force is. And we are so sure that we've lost them, but we can also feel the breath on the back of our necks. And then we're stumbling into a circle of chairs, and there are familiar faces all around us, and we feel silly for having been so panicked. Because we just got lost down here for a moment. I mean, it was our first time in this new space, but we know everyone here. We've been with them for weeks. Others arrive, maybe even the person we'd heard open the door and imagined, though why we would, that they were chasing us. They were probably, assuredly, as lost as we were. And we all sit down and we wait until we hear a set of footsteps approach. And we can hear these even if we couldn't hear our own. But this person, the one we've been waiting for, joins the circle. Sophie, tell me how you approach your focus group.
Sophie is holding a bundle of notebooks and pictures and folders full of things, documents, boxes of items, and a little pouch of dry erase markers and whatever other pens and pencils. On her back, a big backpack slugged over her shoulders, clearly full of laptop, whatever else students need. And she walks in, kind of stumbling a little bit. And as she kind of lifts her head, quickly does a scan of the room, trying to just see where everyone is at and see if everyone's here. And I think as she kind of steps in, she smiles and just says, "Thank you all for joining me here. I'm sorry we're in a different space. It's, I don't know, exam season. People are, I don't know, renting out the other spaces. So I hope you all don't mind in being in this new office space, I guess."
And as you look around, Sophie, they are all there. Well, not all of them. Eric is not there yet, but the rest are sitting around the circle, varying ages from 20s all the way up to 60s. None of them look relaxed, but there are definite variations in the level of tension. In particular, you see that Vanessa is sitting with her arms crossed across her chest, head down, like foot tapping nonstop, not really looking anyone in the eye. And you also notice that Joseph has not sat down. He is kind of pacing a bit behind the chairs. But the others are chatting a bit, or at least were until you entered. Were, joking. But you've seen them in other settings, and they look much less relaxed than they did when you were in the other room in the library.
I think as she kind of like dumps her things on the table, she is just holding that smile, and quickly pulls out her laptop, opens it. It's not turned off. It's always on. That's a problem. And she just says, "Sorry, guys, just give me 1 second to set up. Today should be pretty quick," and she just immediately starts taking notes. Yeah.
And it's at that point that Vanessa glances up and asks, "Are we going to have to look at more of those pictures today?"
Well, I did have some in mind. Again, I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable, but this is definitely a part of the study. So if you'd rather I have items, that's a little bit less graphic, I suppose. We can discuss those instead, their significance.
And Kyle now glances over and asks, "Are the items from crime scenes?"
Well, legally, I can neither confirm nor deny that. So yeah. We'll just be speaking in hypotheticals. They'll be based off of true situations. But of course, names and all of that will be changed. The situations will probably be adjusted slightly as well. I don't want, again, any sort of private information. And again, cannot legally confirm or deny that any of these are parts of any sort of closed in case.
And it's now Warren that looks at you and says,
she's just shuffling papers now, taking out.
I don't remember this being in the informed consent part of the experiment.
No, it's definitely in there. I promise. I don't have a copy of them today, but I can scan them over. I have all of your information. So if you want, you know, an email copy, I can get that to you. It's not really something I like to carry around. You know, and I'd have to get it from the school log and my advisors and counselors and stuff. So, but I can definitely get that to you, Warren. That's not a problem.
I would like to see that. I would remember agreeing to look at items that may or may not have been a part of an open investigation.
Yeah, for sure. You know what? Let's not worry about the items. How about we just take today and just talk? And you can see she kind of like packs up the little things she was taking out. She just packs up and puts it to the side and says, I know this can be a little bit emotionally, mentally overwhelming. I know we all discussed this before agreeing. Obviously, this is a heavy topic and it can be a little bit intense. So how about today? I will reschedule the official focus group. If you all want, we can chat. I know we have like one-on-ones coming up soon, but for now we can just, you know, hang out. Try to, you know, get a feeling of where we're at. So if things need to be adjusted, then they can be.
And you see, not all, but a number of them start to relax. And they are talking a bit, sharing some of their reactions, and it's a lot of what you would expect. I mean, talking about being disturbed by the images, having a hard time getting those images out of their head. And then Vanessa, who hasn't really been participating much, in a moment of silence that no one else seems about to fill, asks, has anyone else felt like they've been being followed? And there is a hush that falls over the group for a moment, but some people are already nodding.
It's actually really, really interesting that you bring that up, Vanessa. I was a little bit worried this would happen, but again, we're here to talk. I want to make sure everyone feels comfortable and safe. So it's pretty common when seeing somewhat disturbing content, especially on a relatively regular basis, talking about it, thinking about it. It can create a subconscious kind of like a group subconscious fear, right? And that develops and manifests in different ways for different people. But especially since we've all been in, you know, similar situations as far as viewing things, as far as talking about things, I definitely could see that as an option. And it's something that, again, we can talk about. You are all fine. It's very normal response of the mind and, you know, brain links and all of that, trying to keep you safe. Our old animalistic tendencies, looking over the shoulder. It's very, very normal. It's that group, again, adrenaline from your body after seeing a lot of intensive stuff, trying to keep you safe and trying to keep you kind of on your guard. But that is actually a very normal response. And I appreciate you bringing that up because I wasn't sure if that was going to happen. But now that it's out in the open, yeah, if anyone else has any thoughts on that, I'd be more than happy to talk about it because it would definitely help with the study.
And different group members start speaking up, saying, you know, for me, it started after the first time we viewed those images. For me, it was after the second. I noticed it when I was walking home. I noticed it at the gas station. There was a moment where I could have sworn someone was outside my house.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's David who kind of raises his hand and waits to get your attention, Sophie. And when he has it, he looks really worried and says that whole thing about, you know, this is our animal brain and whatever, like it's a normal response. Does it go away or like is this permanent?
Oh, no. This is not permanent. Again, as the focal group wraps up, once your body and your neurons and your brain kind of recognize you're not in danger and that's, you know, you're no longer surrounded by any of that information, then goes back to being your peppy old self, David. Yeah. So if you do experience those kinds of feelings, they might stay a little bit after we wrap up here, as far as like in the next few weeks, month or so. But I promise afterwards, it kind of goes away again, especially after your body realizes there's actually nothing there and that this is all just subconscious trying to, you know, firing little signals in your brain.
And some of the group looks a little reassured by that. This time it is Kristen who says, I mean, can we really stop being afraid of this? I mean, what you're showing us is crime scene photos. These were real people who got hurt. I mean, how can you say that we're safe?
I mean, I guess the best way to describe it, and I know it feels like it will last forever, but the best and easiest way to describe it is when you are a child, you probably don't remember a lot of like the scary things that you saw or you thought you saw or felt. Like monsters under your bed, things again out of the corner of the eye, lots of times at night. That stuff really stays with you for a long time. But as again, your brain realizes it's not real, it's not going to happen. It's just pictures, it's just movies, video games, whatever it was, then you can move on. The same way as like if you see a really bad car accident or something horrible on the news, you know, if you see a bad accident, you're going to be thinking about that for a long time. You might be a paranoid driver for a long time. But the internal like fear goes away. You might be a little bit more conscious of it because you have just more information, but that happens when you learn information about a lot of things. You know, I just watched a chimpanzee documentary and now I am a little bit more afraid of chimpanzees. So I know, again, this is a lot and it can be a little bit overwhelming. If we need to take things a little bit slower, that's totally fine. Again, I want to make sure everyone feels comfortable, everyone feels safe. And that's really my priority. So if we have to take a couple weeks, extend the timeline, I can talk to my advisor. Ms. King is amazing. Dr. King is amazing. So no worries there. I hope that kind of answers your question, clears the air a little bit.
And that the mention of having a bit more time, there are some people who look more relaxed, there are others who look more tense. But what I am curious about right now is, how is Sophie feeling at this stage of her experiment?
Sophie is feeling very good. Very confident. I feel like she is learning a lot. And although I think there's a little bit of mix of impatience as well, because she wants to keep it going. She has been looking at this type of stuff for much longer than any of these people have. So for her, it's a little bit easier to just kind of keep going and going. And so it's just kind of like antsy, wanting to get those answers, wanting to get the data, wanting to get the information, wanting to write that, write the next chapter, do whatever she has to do, talk to her advisors, share this amazing information. But it's going well. So I think she's also trying to calm that like antsiness and make sure that the study isn't contaminated, corrupted. I'm not sure what the right word would be. So that is a pretty big priority.
It's at that moment, Sophie, that your phone vibrates in your pocket. Do you take a look at it?
Mm-hmm. I say, 1 second, guys, talk amongst yourselves. I did bring some snacks. Sorry, I totally forgot. And she'll just bring out like a really cheap tray of cookies. And yeah, answer.
And it's a text message, so you don't have to get on the phone or anything like that, but you have a text from Eric, and he has asked you, who, ?
He gets just a 1-word response, Warren.
With that, we're going to pan away from this moment with Sophie. We're going to go back to Slatethorn. And well, Sophie is physically in the backseat of the car that Weston is driving. Rebecca and Rachel are going to be reuniting, theoretically, with the other two at the Historical Society. We'd left the two of you at the hotel in the lobby because Rachel, wisely, did not want to bring Rebecca upstairs anywhere near their rooms.
Smart.
Wasn't gonna happen.
Given that, where would the two of you like to go?
I was assuming that we were going to start walking toward the historical society, or at this point, just start walking. Rachel, I think Rachel is very kind of calm in this moment, and Siobhan is very not. I think Siobhan is kind of freaking out, while Rachel is just kind of being like, all right, well, this is just how things do be sometimes. And is kind of chilling out as we walk. What's Rebecca doing? Or how is Rebecca seem after our conversation that we just left off on?
Mm-hmm. Rebecca is seeming still very kind of like shaken by everything, and just she still can't get that thought out of her head of, is this purgatory? And she is desperately trying to focus on the surroundings, because if she has to linger on that thought, that might lead to some realizations that she is very much avoiding.
I think Rachel if she notices that you're focusing heavily on the surroundings, would ask, just sort of like, so what can you tell me about Slate Thorn? I'd never been here before. I'd never planned to be here before in my life. What can you
Oh,
tell me since you're a local?
it's quite a bit different from when I last saw it, but it's a lovely island. It's beautiful all year round, really. We get so many people in the summer, it can be a little claustrophobic at that time, but uh, people are genuinely pretty welcoming. The church is beautiful. The stained glass was all handmade by a local on the island who's so talented. Um, it's not a popular area, but there's a narrow beach on the north side, away from the tourists, that is very peaceful. And oh, the the festivals every year are very nice. The Christmas one was my favorite because all the garlands would go up around town, and there would be all the candles in the windows, and there would be a tree, and it just made you feel so warm. And yeah, it's a very beautiful sanctuary.
That sounds like it. Sounds like it. You say, are there festivals? Are there other festivals?
Oh yes, there's usually, it was a little harder in the time at the end of things, but there would be one in the fall, when the leaves were changing, sort of a kind of a mix of like an autumn festival slash Halloween situation for the kids. There would be a spring one for Memorial Day, to sort of welcome summer. There'd be the big Easter one with the egg hunts for the kids. That was really cute that the church would do. And the New Year, there would be fireworks sometimes, overlooking the beach. It was really, really beautiful the way the light hits the water, and when there would be snow on the beach, it was just the most beautiful thing you'd ever seen.
Rebecca,
Yes.
you remember that there was also a lot of controversy about these different festivals because, well, some people said that the timing of them was more aligned with witchcraft than it was respectable holidays to celebrate, which of course is why you would couch each of them in one of those known holidays.
Yeah. And some people were very nervous because they thought, well, the festivals falling on certain times of year was it was unlucky, but I think that was just old superstitions, like old, very old. Like no one was practicing like witchcraft anywhere on the island. That was just old folk tales that hadn't died out yet.
Oh, people getting all crotchety because people were celebrating something on Lunasa or Beltane or some shit like
One of
that.
those names that kind of sounds familiar, but I never really held any stock in any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and the church always made it clear that's not what they were doing.
All those festivals are run by the church?
At the
Or-
time, the church usually had a presence in it. I don't know if it's the same now. Well, the Easter one and the Christmas one, not so much in the fall or the spring, but they would help out. There would always be. They would usually have the picnic in the spring that a bunch of the folks at the church would volunteer to help make and things like that.
That sounds very nice. It sounds like it was a nice place to grow up.
Yes. Why did you come here if you didn't know anything about it?
I was invited.
Oh, you have a friend?
Mm, I don't think so. I didn't think so then either.
Who invited you?
I have no idea. I'd be fascinated to find out. But I was invited and I thought I should probably check it out just in case it was something important.
I mean, the letter was addressed to you and everything, and it just said, come to the island and meet me somewhere?
It just said come to the island, said be at the docks, and then some poor person was murdered.
She kind of, without thinking, puts her hand in the coat pocket and just kind of pulls out the postcard that Kai had received and just kind of looks down at it and just kind of looks a little confused because she doesn't remember the postcard. Was it like this one?
Sure was. That handwriting look familiar to you?
I've not seen this before. It's an old postcard. Well, the image looks old. Is that why we wanted to go to the Historical Society?
That's
This is the address for it.
That's one of the things I thought we'd check out. I'm gonna go to the Historical Society, check that out. I wanna look into some things here. I wanna know when they put up that cell tower.
Oh,
See that thing up there, up on that hill?
oh, that's weird looking.
Yeah, so that sends signals all throughout the world so that these makes these work. It's like radio,
I was gonna
only
say.
yeah, it's like radio waves, except it's on a slightly different electromagnetic frequency. I don't know how much how much you would have known about signals intelligence back in the day, but
She looks completely lost and overwhelmed. Just
That- I'm just curious as to when that thing went up, what it replaced, if anything. Was there a was there a uh was there a radio tower up there back in the day?
There was.
Yeah, actually, it did used to be there. I guess people don't really use radio anymore.
Oh, there's plenty of use for radio. Still.
What made you curious about it?
Oh, there's all kinds of things you can do with frequencies.
Do you know how to do those things?
Some. I'm more interested in who than exactly what. And you know what? It's probably totally innocent. It's probably fine. But there's enough what I'm going to go ahead and call shenanigans on this
Oh,
island that it's making me think that, you know, it might be worth checking out, trying to find a who behind some of this. And if I can't get my answers from the Historical Society, then I'll go get my answers from the mayor.
are you trying to find out who killed that poor woman last night?
I want to find out who killed that woman, who invited us here, and why the fuck people are coming back in new bodies. And why are y'all so persistent? Like persistent personality sticking around. You know, it's strange.
Me?
You,
I didn't. What?
Raven, Siobhan, I don't know why any of these things are sticking around the way they're sticking around.
Well, obviously not witchcraft. That's silly.
I don't really believe in witchcraft.
No, it's just superstition.
Of course, it's just superstition. But up until now, I didn't really believe in past lives coming back, or ghosts, or whatever this is.
I mean, I didn't really give a thought to past lives, but I just figured ghosts hadn't found their way out yet.
That's, man, I don't know.
I don't know why I wouldn't have found my way out.
Don't you? You hear, almost like it's whispered in your ear.
Is anyone there? Did I recognize the voice?
No.
Who is?
I don't hear it.
Someone said something. You didn't hear anyone?
Nope. Must have been the wind.
Is it another ghost, maybe?
A mind under stress can do all kinds of wacky things. As I said, shenanigan.
Did you want to see the cell tower? Or did you just want to keep going to the historical society?
Well, we said we'd meet him there.
I don't
Let's
know.
keep heading to this historical society. I'm not. I'd like a little bit longer to prepare.
Well,
And her eyes are pretty much fixed on the cell tower. I'd like a little longer to prepare before I go up there.
do you need to gather tools?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. That
Mhm.
makes because the tower's broken.
Right, the tower's broken. That's what they say. The tower's broken. Mm-hmm. Want tools or rope? Rope is what I really want.
Well, there should be a hardware store in town. At least there was when I was here.
Anything on an island, you pretty much have to fix everything yourself. I'd expect you got a pretty good hardware store here.
Oh, it was very thorough. Yes. Anything they didn't have, they would send out to the mainland.
You spend much time on the mainland?
Oh no, I've never been to the mainland.
Never.
No, I was told it was too dangerous. Much safer to be here, where it's familiar and you know people.
I guess you were the danger here.
What?
Oh, sorry. Too soon?
She kind of like twitches because there is a moment, because Kai has been dead fucking silent and giving her nothing. There is a moment where she feels like this sense of smugness from the back of her mind that she knows is not her. She just kind of, well, I guess whoever's body this is still here.
Oh, yeah?
I felt something that wasn't me just now. It's the first time that's happened.
That's interesting.
Why is that interesting?
Philosophically speaking, I suppose, Honestly, you're the only person I've ever talked to who's really had an extended conversation with who's experienced this before. Because let's be honest, Raven and Weston, not exactly open conversational partners.
No, I get the sense that there's a lot they don't want to say, but it almost, the way Dominic talked was, or Weston talked, made it sound like that he was aware of what Raven was doing when it's Weston's body?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was aware of what Raven was doing when Raven was present, but and that Raven was aware of Weston, but I don't feel anything from Kai. And I don't know why it would be different. But then again, it's a different ghost, maybe?
Different ghost. You're a different ghost. I'll be honest, Kai struck me. I knew the least about what Kai wanted. Dominic slash Weston, whatever the hell his name was, is still around. And Sophie and yourself, Raven, all of them had pretty clear motivations, what they wanted to do, what they wanted to get done. I don't know if it was just because of his age or if it was because of this, that, or the third, but Be hard pressed to tell you what exactly it was Kai was about. I bet he holds a lot of stuff close to the chest.
Given that he's pretty silent, I would agree with you. Since he's shut the door on me, so to speak.
I was pretty quiet too. But I didn't shut the door. She had access to everything from
Why didn't you shut the door?
Didn't feel
Weren't
the
you
need.
scared?
No. It may shock you to learn this. I ain't scared of much.
I feel like I should be more shocked than I am.
Well, hey, maybe when we get up to the Historical Society, we can catch you up a little bit more on what the 20th century is about. 21st century. Shit, I'm old. 21st century is about. And, you know, what kind of fun stuff you've been missing out on. Like, well, let's see, when were you? You were 1930s,
30s.
1930s?
I last remember 34, I think.
Hmm.
36. No, it was 36.
Hoo-wee, lot happened.
Looks like it. Sort of.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's at that moment that you hear an absolute commotion coming from what sounds like just down the street. You can hear people yelling, you can hear people cursing. What do you do?
What's going on?
There's a psychological moment. Do we run toward the yelling and screaming or away? What do you think?
My instinct is to run away.
All right. If you want to wait here, I'm going to go see what this is about.
Alone?
I mean, Rachel's going to like look around and like put her hand on Rebecca's shoulder and say, one of the real benefits to having come back in a man's body is people are unlikely to mess with you. You can just stand alone on a street and ain't nobody gonna say a thing. Except, howdy, sir, do you have the time?
I never considered that. Then I
Damnedest
should
thing.
then I should be fine standing here saying nothing.
If you would like to walk with me, that's fine. I want to go see what that is. And if it's stupid, I'm going to walk back away from it. If it's not stupid, I may come back and get you. Because there's a non-zero chance it's Sophie having done something. I'm going to go check up on it, though.
I might trail behind. Yep, she's gonna trail behind at a bit of a distance.
And so as you turn the corner, to you, Rachel, and not so much to you, Rebecca. In fact, the place that you are in front of was not always a bar. It used to be a small diner, very mom and pop-esque. Not that one.
Okay.
Not that one.
Hmm.
Though for a moment, you're not entirely sure that it wasn't. But that isn't really the important thing. The important thing is the commotion that is happening outside. Namely, that Officer Sean Dalton and Detective Winters are escorting Scott Carpenter to a police car. He is not making this particularly easy for them. And both of you, for both similar and different reasons, have your attention caught by Isaiah, who is following. And Isaiah is saying, "This is bullshit, Detective Winters, and you know it. Scott wouldn't do something like this. I don't know what evidence you think you... Scott, we're going to deal with this. Don't worry. They're just targeting you because you're the boyfriend, and that's the shit they always do. But they don't have anything. I know they don't have anything." And Officer Dalton very much has his hands full trying to get Scott into the back of the police car, while Detective Winters is reading off Miranda rights and looking very resigned to this situation.
Hmm.
All right, it looks stupid to me. What do you think?
He looks just like Isaiah.
Isaiah does? Hmm. Yeah.
I'm
She's just
sorry, he
kinda-
looks just like your Isaiah.
Ugh.
Oh shit. Yeah. Yeah, that's the grandson of your boy.
He's not. He's. He can't be his. That's him. That's not his. He looks identical.
Creepy shit, isn't it? I didn't like it either.
Who did you recognize?
Same one you recognized. Isaiah. In that fucking jacket.
It's the same jacket. And it can't. Are you sure it's not him?
Darling, if he were alive, he'd be what? In his late 90s at this point? 100 something? He'd be 100 and something at this point. Now, granted, I'd shoot him again if he were, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm getting worked up.
What do you mean again?
Oh, don't worry about it. Ghost shit.
That's right, she killed me.
Yeah, I did. And I'd do it again. And I'd do it again.
He's a bitch and he had it coming.
He is a bitch and he had it coming. Isaiah Carpenter, just like John Snipe.
Yeah, fuck John Snipe.
Fuck him. That's ghost shit, but he would be stone dead by now. So no, that's a kid. Just a throwback, I guess.
Right? Throwback. What? Why they're arresting his brother?
It's his brother or his cousin?
Or cousin?
Brother.
Brother. Okay. Probably for the murder of that girl. His cousin was the boyfriend of the girl who was murdered. And you know, I don't know, Sophie'd cite the statistic at you, but some ungodly number of the time it's the boyfriend. Boyfriend, husband, wife, sometimes, romantic partner.
You don't believe that.
What do you mean?
You don't believe that it was him, though.
I don't. Actually, JD, let me ask you a question.
I would love a question.
I want to know, actually, in this moment, in my recollection, Rachel believed his grief, but reviewing the memory, does she?
I think I will have you roll with awareness.
Sick. Let me. Why is it not just in my gaming folder? Oh, it's in the other gaming folder. Because you know what I'm really good at? File management.
Mm-hmm.
Relatable.
It's listen, security through obscurity. If you can't find it, they can't
Another
find
good
it.
day. Yep.
All right, I'm rolling with awareness.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna roll with Rachel's awareness. That's a 5. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark insight. 5 out of 5. I get to take a new move.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I actually really love that because, Rachel, as you are reviewing that memory, you don't know why, but there's something about the way Scott was that night that feels wrong. Maybe it wasn't that there wasn't grief, but was it grief for a tragedy that happened, or was it grief for a tragedy that he caused? And I think with that, we will actually take our break.
Oh, sick.
And we're probably going to go a little bit shorter tonight. We'll see. Who knows? We've had some excellent role play and some spicy things happening. But for now, we're going to take 10. We'll be back at just about 9:35. We're going to see what happens in this second half of the game.
Oh, this bitch is gonna make some bad decisions.
All right, I have brought us back. We are all intently focusing on a variety of things. One of the things we are intensely focusing on as we leave the present day and the island of Slatethorn, we're going somewhere else. This time, we are going to a large, spacious office, large bookshelves, basically on every side of the room. Some of the books with the name and title of the person who owns this office. Well, owns is maybe a bit of an overstatement, but Dr. Rodna King has been a staple of the university for a long time. And she sits at her desk, fingers steepled, staring at Sophie, as Sophie describes what she hopes to do for her thesis.
And so it's kind of a mix of medicine, psychology, victimology, and the study of the everyday man. I really think it's going to be like a fresh, new take on the studies of just regular victimology of the past. I mean, I truly feel like we can learn so much from this. And I mean, if we find good research and findings from this, I feel like it could really, really change the game and, you know, help people and stuff. So yeah. What are your thoughts? I know that was a bit, and I have a copy of the pitch, but it's also in your email. But yeah, sorry. I'm just really excited.
Dr. King has very much been keeping her expression very neutral, something she is well practiced at. But even before she speaks, Sophie, you can see the edges of discomfort in her eyes. And she shakes her head a bit and then takes a breath and asks, Sophie, the answer to this would likely not change what my response is going to be, but what safety precautions would you even put into place for a study like this?
I mean, we have in the psychology department some incredible counselors and professionals on hand. So I feel like we can really rely on the resources that we have here at the university and your amazing knowledge. I feel like there can definitely be guidance here, tweaks and stuff, but I feel very confident that we can learn a lot from this. And I want to make sure that everyone is safe. That's absolutely true. Like I said, I will do whatever it takes to make that happen. Counselors, medical tests, you know, if necessary. I think that's probably good. Again, learning a lot from this, though.
Sophie, what you are essentially suggesting is that we would be putting people directly in harm's way, but saying that it is all right because we have a medical team on hand.
But that's not it. I don't think you're quite understanding what I'm trying to say, Dr. King. And if you would just read through the pitch, I feel like it really just speaks through what I'm trying to say right now. I'm a little bit nervous and overwhelmed, but I you know, it's only 30 pages and it really gets into the nitty gritty, goes over a lot of great resources and again, I think this could benefit not only the industry, as it were, but also the school, right? Like your name could be attached to it if you'd like. And I feel like this could be something that the school could really benefit from. Like I'm talking awards, grants. I think this could really put a spotlight on the school and the psychology department and you.
Sophie, you are very driven and passionate, and I can see that clearly. And it is in fact the fact that my name would be attached that additionally raises concerns.
Right. And
I do not want the school to have a spotlight on us because something catastrophic happened. And Sophie, I cannot imagine that the IRB is going to approve this.
I think, again, misunderstandings here. No one is going to be put in any harm's way. That is not the point. It's just trying to gain that understanding a little bit deeper of victimology, and I think I can be very, very, very clear, and I will work with you or in the IRB, and we can come up with a very strict, rigorous waiver or something that makes it very clear what the parameters of the study are, to make sure that everyone involved feels safe, right? Without saying too much, because that would ruin the study. But yeah, I really just, if you could just trust that what I'm trying to do is, it's going to be great and safe. But I feel like if you could just trust me, I know I will create something that the school and you will be so proud of.
Sophie, again, these are the exact aspects of the study that I am concerned about. You are saying that you are going to ensure that all participants are aware of harm that could be caused, but what you have proposed here is a blind study.
It's only partially blind, really, if you look at the details. I mean, it's again, no one is going to get hurt, and it all kind of makes sense. How else would we get the information that we need if they knew every single little detail that was going on, all the science and stuff that they probably wouldn't even understand? I mean, then how could we call that a study? How could we call that psychology or science? I mean, when doctors make their medical studies, it's not like you can read every single ingredient and potential side effects. There's going to be side effects, maybe. And they still do. Those studies are essential. We wouldn't have vaccines and we wouldn't have a lot of the medications that we have today, right? And all of those are considered safe. So why not this, Yeah, I'm just not understanding, I guess.
Sophie, I will review the proposal.
Okay.
And I will let you know my decision. But as you know, even if I support you submitting this proposal to the IRB,
which I'm sure you will after you read it again,
they will make the final decision.
Okay. Yeah. And is there like someone I could talk to about this?
Beyond me.
From the IRB, maybe.
if we get to that stage, you will have a chance to describe the rationale for this study, the reasons we would be willing to take such risks, and the measures put in place to address any potential harm.
Right. Which there shouldn't be. But understandable. Absolutely, measures should be in place and will be in place.
Sophie, you
Yes.
and Dr. King does not even try to hide her look of concern as she studies you. Sophie, you do understand that when we talk about harm, we're not only talking about physical safety. We are talking about psychological harm.
Right. And again, I understand where you're coming from. And I truly believe when done correctly, this study will not have those consequences. I appreciate your time, Dr. King. And again, I am honored to have you as my advisor. I've been following your work since as long as I can remember. And honestly, you're the reason why I'm at this school to begin with. I mean, your work is incredible. And I look up to you so much. So I hope that you'll give me a chance. I just want to be as good as you.
Well, that is quite flattering, Sophie. I trust whether this is the ultimate direction we go in with your thesis, that you will do incredible work. And I do not want you to be too disappointed if your idea requires several amendments or changes. That is a part of the process. My thesis and dissertation both underwent so many edits.
Right.
That does not mean that the idea in and of itself was bad.
Yeah, of course. I'm sure we'll find a way. I appreciate your time, Dr. King. And I appreciate you looking over my pitch again. I don't want to waste any more of your time. I will hear back from you soon.
I will review your proposal and let you know my thoughts within the week.
Okay. Okay. In the meantime, I will think about what you've said today.
And write your paper on ethics for my class.
You know I have that done already. And it's probably the best thing I've ever written before my dissertation, to be honest. So I think you'll be pretty impressed by that.
I'm sure I will, Sophie. Have a good weekend.
You as well. And she walks out.
And we're gonna hit pause on Sophie right there so that we can move back to the present day and see whatever shenanigans Rachel and Rebecca may be about to get into.
I don't know. I mean, he could be behind it. He could not be. Statistically, it's most likely, but I don't know anything about the man. I don't know anything about him. So, I don't know if he's the type of person to burn crosses into girls' flesh after stabbing them brutally to death on a playground or not.
That's so brutal. It couldn't.
That's not what we did.
Did you tell anyone?
Who would I have told?
Your children?
Are you speaking at this out loud?
She's like kind of turning her head, but yeah, she's kind of under her breath muttering this. Actually want to no, I'm not using Kai's playbook. I'm using this horrible girl's playbook. I like I want to use my move Sow Dissent for Read a Room. It's whenever you read the room and use this move, you get an additional question about the situation you're analyzing. So you can always ask one question even on a fail. However, on a miss, the question has to be, how can I divide the group? You act okay. What?
Please do roll for that with sociability.
Thank you. How does she have a 1 in sociability? That doesn't seem right. That's a 9.
Nice.
Okay.
We love to see that.
Read the room questions on. I want to ask, what's going to happen next with this whole the murder, more the murder than the arrest, I think. And she's trying to get the sense, given that as her Isaiah is whispering in her ear, and given what she herself did, and that cruelty was never a part of it, she's trying to get a sense of, was this the right call? Does it stop now? Or is she getting the sense that it's going to happen again? If that makes sense. And if you don't feel like this can be answered by the scenario going on right now, I can change my question.
No, I love that question. I think it is a very interesting one because you are looking at everyone involved in this tableau. You are seeing Scott being guided into the back of the police car. You are seeing that in a lot of ways, Detective Winters looks like he's going entirely through the motions. It isn't the look of someone who has caught a person they believe to be the perpetrator and is feeling a sense of relief. It is almost I'm checking the box and I'm doing this. And that strikes you as odd, especially because you can think back to when the murders were happening and when there were several people who were accused. The look each time that you remember on the lead detective's face was one of relief and triumph. Even though they were wrong, there was a sense of it's over. And especially in Detective Winters, that is not the vibe you're getting. Officer Dalton definitely seems to think that they're on the right path. The other piece that you're a little confused on is you look at Scott and you try to imagine the look that Isaiah would have on his face were he to be in that role, were he to have killed you. And you imagine that he might look devastated, maybe resigned. It's strange because there is that resignation in Scott's eyes. But it's almost this resignation of, if this is what has to happen, it's what has to happen.
That's curious. Detective Winters doesn't really believe he did it. Yet he's arresting him.
You gotta move fast on a murder case. Show people you're doing something. Capital D, capital S.
That's not the direction he's trying to move in.
No?
You can tell he's not proud. He's beaten down. Which means it's going to happen again. That was too cruel to happen again.
What was the point for you? Goal.
They were hurting. They were struggling. And they didn't deserve to suffer. They didn't deserve the pain, the fear, and the weight of everything they carried. And I wanted to help them. Wanted to guide them beyond this pain, and because they couldn't themselves.
Here, I'll bet the cruelty was the point.
Why?
The shock of it.
It's never about cruelty. It was a mercy.
For you, maybe. This She wasn't drugged. Not that I could tell. Oh shit! I still got a blood sample. I've got to fucking analyze.
It's blood in the hotel room.
Oh, I just gotta fucking. No, that I'm thinking like fucking Sophie. I'm not gonna break into the fucking medical examiner's office and find the reports. Jesus Christ. Hanging around with kids too much. But no, she died hard. She died bad. And if it's somebody who's going after women, I reckon they're probably getting off on that.
What did she look like?
Did she look like the type?
Mm-hmm. Long, dark hair.
Long, dark hair.
This is...
You know, the type.
This is a perversion. This is... Detective, why are you arresting that man when you know he didn't do it?
Oh, honey.
Before I answer...
She's horrible. She's the worst. She's so...
You are likely already acting on this information, but out of curiosity, did you want to use your question? How do I divide the group?
Yeah, why do you think she's...
And who are you thinking of specifically?
Basically because she's viewing this as... This is like a sacrilege to her little fucked up mind. And that more people are going to be hurt by this. She's trying to sow dissent between Dalton and Winters to kind of force them to not accept this, that there's still a danger. Because why would they let this sacrilege continue? And they could stop it.
Oh boy.
And so what I will add to the mix, as you are already calling Detective Winters and his authority into question, is that you don't have access to Kai's memories.
As of now, he is not giving her shit.
You don't have any of that, so you don't remember the interaction between... Well, Kai didn't actually ever interact with Officer Dalton.
Nah,
so
he dipped out of that mess.
He would not have any information of that regardless. Regardless, you know the type. You know this is someone who just wants his ego stroked. And if you can make him feel important in some way...
Dalton, right?
Dalton.
Yeah,
he's gonna think about what you've said. So if you want to create a division there, that alongside calling Detective Winters and his integrity and authority into question is the best way. It is also the best way to sow dissent between the police and the town.
I mean, she's just the worst.
That's a bad idea.
So you call that out, and Detective Winters pauses and looks over at you and looks confused because he's never seen you before.
Fuck, that's right.
And
Rachel is going to straight disappear.
Smart. I wish Rebecca was as smart.
No, Rachel is going to be like back around the corner. I'll keep an eye on this. I ain't gonna be right here.
Homer Simpson into the bushes, like, I'm not fucking here.
Straight up merge with a wall.
Just like, I am the leaves.
I'm the leaves. Don't look at me.
And absolutely no role needed for that. First of all, Rachel knows what she's doing. And second of all, there is enough chaos that you are the last person he is looking at.
Yep.
So he just zeroes in on Rebecca and says, "Sir, I don't know what is leading you to make these accusations, but I will assure you we have gone through the proper process for all of this."
Then why do you look so defeated?
You are making a lot of assumptions about me.
Just, you seem like a man of integrity. And you look so resigned. Aren't you afraid of what could happen with the real monsters still out there?
We have our monster.
I think this is the moment Kai gives reluctantly. Kai was there when Scott found the body, if I'm recalling. Yes, it has been a while.
And then disappeared.
Yep, that was around the time everything started to escalate, and he was just like, no. Kai gives her that. Nothing really much around it. And he gives her the body, finding the body, the arrival, the commotion, the grief, and then cuts it off as soon as he leaves. He's not giving her more than he feels like he absolutely needs to. She's just like, he was so distraught and heartbroken, and there were so many people there. If you're not sure, will you at least be patrolling the town to make sure it doesn't happen again? What precautions are being put in place in case it turns out he's innocent? Because he is innocent.
Monsters are very good at putting on human faces. Regarding what precautions I will take, those will be mine to determine.
And Officer Dalton's as well?
Officer Dalton does not have the authority to do anything more than go on patrol, if that is what he is instructed to do.
Oh. I apologize. I thought with the situation there were certain measures being enacted.
Again, that will be a decision that I make alongside the mayor. And at that moment, he pauses and looks you up and down and says, "Ah, that's why you had details about the crime scene. We were wondering about the person who left before they could be questioned. Especially a stranger on the island. Who arrived the same day that a murder happened for the first time in decades.
That's a very insulting statement to make. And you would know where any strangers on the island were to be found was at the hotel.
Yes, well, it would seem your name was never documented.
Seems like it was a very chaotic night. Understandable given how horrible it was. It was. I couldn't. It was so overwhelming. I'd never seen that type of violence before.
You're gonna.
I feel like Kai very reluctantly gives her a mental kick to just kind of be like, we have a fucking alibi.
Do not say anything more without your lawyer present.
That my whereabouts are accounted for. If you need to talk to me after you deal with this situation, you know where strangers on the island stay.
Indeed, I do. And I have many reasons to follow up with someone who is so convinced that we are taking in the wrong person and just so happened to be there at the scene of the crime. Though that would be a very foolish thing to do.
It would. That was genuine grief, Detective. Hey JD, out of curiosity, what's Isaiah the Third doing through all this? Considering he was Kai's fucking alibi.
I've got some questions about Isaiah too.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got to read the room roll coming up.
Oh boy.
And so what I will say is Isaiah has been a bit more distracted with Officer Dalton and Scott. That has been where his focus is. Like, he heard what you said and he kind of processed that it was you, but he's been keeping his attention more on, like, is there any way to stop this from moving forward in light of what you're doing? And so he's technically been tag teaming it with you on the side of Officer Dalton. That is why he has not inserted himself into your conversation with Detective Winters.
I've said my piece, Detective.
Before he responds, Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
Are we reading the room?
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know we are. We're reading the room. We're actually I'm gonna use 2 steps ahead because this is some shit.
Yeah, new move.
We love to see it.
New move.
Someone making better choices than me.
New move.
That's a 10.
Incredible.
10.
New move.
So I get to
10 on a move.
So I get to ask an extra question automatically. What here poses the greatest danger to the most vulnerable of us? And right now, yeah, I'm interested in that question. What here seems to cause the most danger to the most vulnerable of us?
Who's the most vulnerable?
So the answer in this case is actually, in some ways, the fact that Rebecca's plan has worked out as well as it has. Because as you're looking at this and you're seeing these different pieces, and you're realizing that not only is Officer Dalton going to be patrolling, he is going to think that he can be a hero. You know that that poses the greatest danger because you have seen the absolute incompetence of this man. And so that to you stands out like beyond the fact that there is a very high likelihood this will not be the first and only murder. You are realizing, like, directly and or indirectly, Officer Dalton could cause a whole lot of harm.
Cool. This is fine. But what I really want to know is who in. So this is sort of like an in between. This is a very specific situational question, but I guess it kind of is sort of in between what's happening beneath the surface and what connections do I see here. Who looked panicked and or offended when Rebecca said the monster is still out there, referred to the monster? Did anyone look panicked, offended? Did anybody have a little flinch?
And so you are considering the people in the crowd and you are honing in on those words. You notice reactions from a few people. Detective Winters is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
His flinch is one of, I know you're right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is the reaction you get from him. It is not a flinch, but Isaiah also has a reaction to that.
Shit.
The exact reaction is hard to read. It doesn't seem like an admission of guilt. It's not a, I can't believe you would call me that. It isn't a, I am proud at the thought of being called that, were he the one responsible. It is a, I have a piece of information. And that piece of information ties in somehow to that concept of a monster.
Sick. How many questions do I get? I guess 2 questions from the list. Okay, so I get one more question because I got the one automatically, right?
Yep.
Sweet. What doesn't belong here? This is a small island community. It's not surprising that a crowd would form with things like that. It's boring here. But what doesn't belong?
You are looking around. Taking in the different people, and none of them initially strike you as odd. I mean, you see people who have stepped out from the shops, one of the bartenders pretty much like ducks their head out and then is like, none of my business, and goes right back in and is like not about to have this. But most of the others that you're seeing, it's the sort of crowd you would expect. Just a handful of people, different ages, kind of standing in clusters, whispering to each other. And it's a small crowd, but it is enough that it takes you a few moments to register a figure standing in the back, almost in the alley, like almost covered in the shadows. And you can't clearly see them because there is a hood that is covering their face. Just, the hood of a sweatshirt, but it is hanging down enough that it covers their eyes and leaves the rest of their face in shadow.
How far away from me are they?
The crowd is between you and them. So, like, you are kind of at one end, they are at the other. You could, theoretically, backtrack and see if you could come at them from behind.
First thing I'm going to do is act like I'm taking a picture of the crowd scene, but actually get a picture of them on my phone. Second thing I'm going to do is that.
I'm going to do something. It doesn't usually happen.
No!
Sick.
Why are you rolling?
Sick.
The figure, you move the way down the street. You're moving quickly, I would imagine.
Mhm.
When you enter that alley, there is a moment where you could swear you catch a glimpse at them standing at the end. But as you approach, there's no one there. There is, however, a scrap of paper where they stood. And it has a phone number written on it.
What the fuck? And the fucking cell phones work!
She's going to just cruise through, pick up the paper, and then kind of make her way, just sort of walk back out the alley. Just not, yeah, I think she's not gonna take too much make too much of a focus on this. She's not gonna like case the alley or anything like that. She's just gonna pick up the piece of paper and keep walking.
Just a casual question, Raph. Did Evans have a tag that they like to leave?
What the fuck?
Interesting question. I'm gonna say they probably did. Although it's definitely evolved over the years. I think it would be a bear.
Is it on a skateboard? Is the bear
On a skateboard? Mm-hmm.
the bear on a skateboard? Sorry.
It's a bear head.
Okay. And so you do see that bear head right where that figure was standing. And if you look at the piece of paper with the phone number, it's likely as you're folding it up, there's a very brief note scrawled on it. It just says, "Call me. It'll go through."
I'm gonna rejoin my the one who inspired my murderer. And
Oh, you're not wrong, but damn.
my murderer's muse.
Ugh,
God.
terrible. The worst people.
What a
The
great use of
The
words.
worst
Hold on, let me
couple.
write that.
My Murderer's Muse, an autobiography by Siobhan.
Mm-hmm. Siobhan is not happy right now.
Mm-hmm.
Nor should
about
she be.
any of this. But yeah, no, gonna just sort of cruise on back. You done antagonizing the local constabulary?
Detective Winters has disengaged from you at this point. He basically just said, "Your concerns are noted. We will be speaking soon. I will find you at the hotel," and then went
Thank you.
to deal with the car.
You finished antagonizing the local constabulary?
I was raising a concern, but yes, I am done.
Yeah, Do you enjoy making life hard? Is that like a
No.
thing? Is that just like a thing? Cause
I was concerned someone else is going to be hurt.
oh, they are. Oh, they are. Virtually guaranteed at this point, because now that Officer Dalton's gonna be walking around like he's a fucking peacock, all like, "Oh, I watch Winters get told off. I watch Winters get told off. I got big old brass balls on me now." Gonna be walking around through the town, arresting random ass people, probably harassing folks, and the actual killer's gonna get away because that man's an idiot. This whole police department on this island, I guarantee you, it's like 4 dudes. It's like 4 dudes. Ain't one of them could pass a physical. Like, I'll bet they got a volunteer police department in the summertime that they could maybe rustle up 1 or 2 of.
Is it not better to have at least someone out? They weren't going to do it at all.
You don't know that. They might have done. But who knows? We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd love to be wrong. I love it when I'm wrong. When I'm wrong, angels sing. For now, I suggest we move along and don't do anything weird. Which is a shame because I really wanted to do some weird shit.
What weird stuff?
Oh, I was gonna climb a fucking cell tower.
Why can't you do that?
Well, cops are gonna be running around now.
You said there's only 4.
Yeah, there's 4 cops and they're gonna be on the outsiders like stink on a hog.
Well,
They're not going to harass the pleasant citizens of the town. They're going to be harassing the same handful of winos that are arrested for every crime, and they're going to be harassing the outsiders, us. Again, think what's easy. Don't think about what's right. Think about what's easy, and that's what most people are going to do, especially cops, especially local cops.
Why do you say that? It was the 30s.
A wealth of experience dealing with police forces around the world.
And I think that is where we're going to leave the two of you with Rachel giving Rebecca some education.
You can't trust the police? What? They're so pleasant in this town.
Well,
they were
one murderer a long time ago, and so
I'm repeating the process now.
I'm not sure they caught the other ones either. So
Nope.
Their track record is still 0.
Yep.
It's only been like 90 years, right? Something like that.
It's fine. It's so fine.
It's fine. It's
sure
fine.
They have time. It's not like the prior ones were back to back to back.
No, many of the other ones were, if anything, massively parallel. Not so much serial killing.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of serial killers, Sophie, the night after that meeting when you told someone Warren and just sent that message, how were you feeling when you got back to your apartment?
I think she walks back after her conversation with Dr. King. She is probably watching, Hannah get ready to go out, and she's just saying, I think it went really well today, actually. Dr. King and I had a really nice conversation about the thesis. And always going to be a couple edits or whatever, but I'm feeling pretty good about it, honestly. I think she's going to be really impressed. And the focus group was really fun. We had some really interesting conversations. I know this is not really your forte, but yeah, I'm feeling really good. I think this is going to be a really educational experience.
And you go out with Hannah. You have a wonderful time. You are absolutely on cloud 9. In fact, you're almost certain Dr. King's going to send you an email, saying that this is moving forward and she's going to greenlight this, go to the IRB. In fact, this is Sophie. I think, Sophie, you're even thinking, this is such a good proposal. Dr. King is going to sit down with the IRB and, push this right on through.
Oh, yeah, they're going to talk to the dean. They're talking to the president, everyone. She's definitely, she's out because Hannah asked her to be out, but she's, drinking water at the bar, checking her phone, refreshing her email, I know any minute now. Any minute now. Not yet. Almost. Yeah.
And Sophie, was this the night that it happened?
I don't think she found out until much later.
In that case, this moment feels strange because you're refreshing your email again and again and again. And then you see Dr. King is calling you.
I knew it. I knew it. Hannah. Well, okay, she's talking to someone, but I knew it. And she doesn't have to. She's just drinking water, so she just doesn't even have to close the tab, and she just runs outside and says, "Dr. King,
Sophie.
I am so happy you read it. I'm just so curious about what your thoughts are." Yes,
Sophie.
Yes. What's up,
Sophie? What have you done? And we're going to now jump back to the present, where you are sitting in the back seat of the car, holding your phone, which just had a familiar name come across it.
Mm-hmm.
And you put your phone in your pocket, and you look up, and you meet Dominic's eyes in the rearview mirror. And he is staring straight through you, as though he knows it's one of your secrets. And that is where we are going to end tonight's episode. Did we all have fun?
Oh my god!
Damn.
Anyway, great time.
Kai's gonna be so fucking pissed when he's back in the driver's seat. He's gonna be so fucking angry.
He's gonna be so mad. He's gonna be like, "Why am I sharing this body with this horrible wet rat?"
Yep. Just like, why can't you shut the fuck up?
He's like, but it was.
But I needed to say something. It was so terrible. Why was no one doing the right thing? When did you do the right thing? It's got a whole ass argument.
I want to see you play that out.
Just like, don't talk to me while I'm driving. Don't talk to me while I'm driving. What?
I want to see you play both of them at once.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll do it. It's going to be a time.
So things are getting spicy. Rebecca is causing some problems for herself. And
when doesn't
Kai.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Rachel's
is the only one making wise choices. Ish. She didn't backtalk the cops, so you know.
That's true. She did investigate.
That's true. Well, she made good. She made some decisions this time. I don't know if that's going. I don't know if her streak is going to last.
No one else is making the good choices. This it had to be picked up.
Listen, Sophie made no choices tonight, so still very much on that normal track. You know what I'm saying? So very much on the normal track.
Just
Sophie's life on rails the whole way.
On rails.
The brakes on this train, you don't need them because we're so on the rails.
We took the brakes out. The brakes were holding us back.
You know what I mean?
Bullet train, super modern.
The brakes have been cut. No need for them.
It's fine. You don't need them.
No need.
It'll stop on its own.
Sophie
never
has
needs to
never done
stop.
anything wrong ever in her life.
Never in her life.
I feel even
Perfect,
shaking my
sweet
head is
little-
wrong. No.
Perfect sweet little angel.
Nar. Nar, that's so cursed, Sophie. Oh my god. What did you do?
Nothing.
You ignored that ethics class. That's it's
I
just
wrote
like
an
this doesn't apply to me.
incredible essay, actually.
Listen, this is probably the best playing of the child's playbook because this is exactly how my child acts all the time. I heard the rules. The rules are great. The rules make a lot of sense, but I decided, fuck them.
Nailed it.
The rules will change because of my actions. You know what I mean? They'll change for the better.
I don't think you understood. I want it.
Mm-hmm.
So give me the ethics violation stuff.
And then what's the problem?
Right.
It's a win-win. You know what I'm saying? Win-win-win.
W's across the board.
W's across the board, tens across the board, W's across the board. Everyone's a winner.
Incredible.
Incredible.
I cannot wait for these secrets
who's
to
gonna
start
come out the
spilling
worst?
out.
Sophie or
It's true.
Rebecca? Who's the worst?
Absolutely not.
That top spot. They're both grabbing hard for it.
I don't know. Rebecca's a murderer, so.
I'm getting some accessory
Okay,
two vibes from Sophie at
this
this
is
point.
something to say to the kettle. Okay, sure.
I've done nothing wrong.
It's true. Accessory two is just a fancy way of saying not the.
Not guilty.
Yeah.
I was just doing a study.
It's fine.
It's
fine.
fine. People make their
The
own
name of
choices.
education and science.
Can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs.
Absolutely incredible. All right. I think it is time for outros. And then to wait 2 weeks for more spiciness to occur. But
Can't wait for Q to watch this one.
Q's gonna have a time.
Have a fun time.
It's gonna be like, what the fuck did they do?
Who the fuck is in my back seat? Jesus Christ. Can Sophie please switch, please?
Who exactly have I been chauffeuring around this island?
A normal girl.
And so, Steph, I will have you be one of the slightly more normal ones. I think Rachel wins, being the most normal.
Rachel wins. Kai's not in control right now, but he desperately wants to not be at the center of attention. And he's going to be real pissed. It's the Martyr Playbook. Tonight it was Rebecca, the villain playbook. She's the worst wet rat of a girl ever. Maybe she'll learn her lesson one day. Doesn't seem likely. Maybe the consequences will come for her eventually. You can catch me tomorrow in the premiere of a season of Secrets and Shadows, where we test OBS's strength by doing a 7-person table plus JD, so it's technically an 8-person table. With the opening ball, I will be playing Rhiannon the Witch, going to the autumnal ball with her date, and I'm sure nothing bad will happen.
It's going to be so sweet.
It's going to be a wonderful date night.
We love that for you.
Yep. And then you can catch me next Wednesday in the finale for Penny Dreadful over at the Bleak season. These angel murders get solved.
Can't believe that's next week. Oh, God.
I know, right? So much has happened.
And we may at some point see Stephanie back for some more Garth encounters, but not next Tuesday. And we'll get into why in a second. Della, now jumping to you.
Hi, I'm Della. I have been Rachel and Siobhan, though Siobhan only showed up like a little bit today, playing the Parent and the Martyr playbooks. You can find me back here next Thursday, GMing our actually final episode of the season. of Thy Kingdom Come. Stay tuned for news about season 2. You'll also see me again at some point in the future, TBD, in the next episode of our one-shot of In Extremis, playing Vale, the Muscle Witch, because I gotta be honest, I fucking love Vale, and I've gotta find an excuse to play her again.
100%. 100%. We love Vale. I love to see that. Thank you for also reminding me I have to talk to all of you about that. So now that it's back on my to-do list.
Hey, yeah, you got a lot on that to-do list, my guy. So, you know.
And last but not least, the most normal person tonight who had a real normal one.
A real normal one in the backseat of my buddy's car. I'm Raph. I played Sophia Ann McAllister. Very normal. Playbook the normal. And
don't remember creating that.
Playbook the child. No other playbooks, no other beings. All good here. Train is chugging along. What else? Next, wait. Yes. Don't know where I am. Next week, next Tuesday is do you want to talk about it?
You are welcome to dive in.
Okay. The Return of Chaos reunion. Did I say that? I meant class reunion. Where lots of very difficult rammies have just happened, and we'll see what's going on. It's been a while since we visited our romanceable NPCs, aka PCs. It's been a good time. And then I'll be back next Tuesday after that for more Changeling. And wait, Friday. God, I'm telling you, it doesn't make... Friday is a made-up day in my head. Friday, I'll be back here as well for a Season 2 Secrets to Shadows, autumnal ball, the fall ball. Also actually a normal guy, with my date, a cutie little witch. So catch the fall ball tomorrow.
Incredible.
Goodbye.
Normal couple, normal night.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's the theme of tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so normal. I'm gonna check in for a normal time.
Couples that fall together, ball together. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god.
There you go.
Gotta drop that in the secret.
Don't think too hard about that. Just appreciate it.
No, just the beauty of the moment. I'm contacting the present moment with that.
Yeah. Don't like dive into it.
Don't think about it, just experience it.
Yeah.
It's going to be an unhinged time, I can already tell. Oh god. Okay, the best thing about going last is that pretty much everyone else has already plugged like 90% of the things I have to plug, so that's cool. I'll be back for a season of Secrets and Shadows tomorrow. I don't know how I'm going to GM a 7-person table, but I'm sure it's going to be fine. Then on Saturday, I'll be with Exquisite Corpse Presents for Sister Cities, where I play Ghost, our Bardlock. Sunday, I will be with Lost Caravan for the return of Nova, Season 2 starting, no longer using Nova, now using Mothership, where I will be playing Corbin Calloway, no longer Callsign Reaper. And then on Tuesday, I will be back for class reunion, finally getting to be Hunter again, because I have missed them. Missed my non-binary ranger and their dramatic antics with romance. And then on Wednesday, Penny Dreadful wraps up. We got to see Edward Hyde come out last time. Dr. Jekyll is now back. What will this lead to? Deals have been made. Nothing bad's going to happen. It's going to be a normal one on Wednesday night as we finish that game up. And then on Thursday, I will be back for Thy Kingdom Come, where I will get to play no longer Saint Soren Augustine. And that is going to be my wild week next week. But for tonight, I think with so much going on, we are going to call it a night here. I am going to find someone to raid, so please stay on, and we will be back tomorrow for our 7, technically 8-person table of 2 secrets, 2 shadows. Say goodnight, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.